are again. You should have written some paragraphs of each of the 7 formats by now, so you're ready to look at the pieces that go into making up a 5-paragraph essay. The presentation is going to cover the introductory paragraph and its parts, along with some general statements about 5-paragraph essay construction. You will find what I'm going to speak about on pages 34 through 43 of your writing book. First of all, we're going to look at the general structure of the 5-paragraph essay. You will notice that I have depicted the structure in geometric fashion, 2 triangles and 3 boxes. For now, just note those 3 boxes in the middle. They're the kinds of paragraphs you have already been writing in the previous 7 different formats. The last triangle is a concluding paragraph. That's next session. All right, let's look at the first triangle. The first triangle is the introductory paragraph. It's inverted because this paragraph acts as a funnel, directing the attention of the reader down into the essay. The funnel represents a movement from general to specific. The introductory paragraph is very stylized and contains certain elements in a certain order. Time and experience has shown that this format is very effective for introducing a 5-paragraph essay. The order of teaching in the book is to first teach the introductory paragraph, and then the concluding paragraph, and then go back and pick up the body paragraph. So let's begin with the introductory paragraph. The purpose of the introductory paragraph is to introduce the essay, and in particular to introduce the reader to what you are going to talk about and how you are going to deal with it. It's a mini outline of the essay. The first thing we are going to work on is the thesis statement. This is the most important sentence in the whole essay. There are 3 points you must know about the thesis statement. 1, it is the last sentence in the first paragraph. Period. No exceptions. Just to make sure, again, the thesis statement is the final sentence in the introductory paragraph. Putting it anyplace else confuses the reader. Help your reader make the thesis statement the last sentence in the introductory paragraph. 2, the thesis statement states the primary purpose of the essay. The thesis statement tells the reader what you're going to talk about, or what the focus of your argument or your paper is going to be. And third, the thesis statement gives a brief outline of the arguments in the order of presentation. So we can say the thesis statement both gives the reader purpose and direction. A good thesis statement makes it easier for the reader to follow your thinking and hence understand you. It makes a better impression since orderly presentation allows concentration on content. The reader is not confused by having to skip around to figure out what you're saying. We're talking about logical progression of thoughts. Since you're going to be writing 5-paragraph essays that have 3 body paragraphs, each body paragraph will be one of your points of discussion. So you will have 3 points of discussion, 1 point for each body paragraph. Here are some general hints about setting up your 3 points. Make them parallel in grammatical structure. This means 3 prepositional phrases, 3 nouns, 3 verbs, 3 clauses, 3 of the same grammatical structure. The second is find a natural order that best suits the point of your essay. If possible, put your points in order from weakest to strongest. In other words, put your best argument last. And be aware of the natural orders that time and space impose. For example, in a how to wash the dog scenario, you would not dry the animal and put away the hose first. And when discussing some historical event, you are bound to follow some sort of natural time order. Now, most of the time, when you're writing, you're going to be given a topic. Either it's assigned or it's in a test question. However, you probably won't be given the 3 points. You're going to have to figure those out for yourself. So I'm going to give you an example here. Let's assume that you have a literature test and you're supposed to write about a short story. We'll call the short story Cactus Jack Finds a Way. And you're told in that particular assignment that you are to discuss the story and evaluate it, or make some sort of a recommendation. First, you have to decide your purpose. Now, the question directed you to make an evaluation. So, do you think it was good or bad? Would you recommend it or not? Then you have to explain why you think the way you do, and you must have some basis for your judgment. Well, we know that all stories have a plot, some sort of characters, and a setting. So let's use those as our 3 categories. I've got to make some stuff up here, but you'll get the idea. Plot. Lots of action, pretty realistic, somewhat suspenseful, kept my attention. Characters. Hero was great, wasn't a Superman, just an ordinary fellow, but he was a thinker who was careful and acted with good judgment. His sidekick was funny, nice comic relief. The bad guy, well, he was mean and a jerk. I had no sympathy for him. The setting is the Old West, small town, some ranches, standard stuff, realistic, no surprises. The setting seems the weakest item as it was rather run-of-the-mill Old West, so we'll put it first. The characters were believable types, not exaggerated, but rather predictable, white hat, black hat types. The plot was good. The author told a good story, so we'll put the plot last. So characters will come in the middle. I think I'll recommend the story since I enjoyed it. And now this is key. I do not want the reader to know my recommendation right up front. If he already knows my position, he has little incentive to read my essay. Besides, I want to appear objective until I've laid my reasoning before the reader. So, although I will recommend the story in the end, I am going to state my purpose in unbiased terms. I now know the order of my 3 points, setting, characters, and plot, and I know my purpose is to evaluate the story. Now, here are a couple of examples of thesis statements for this essay. It is useful to look at the setting, the characters, and the plot in order to evaluate Cactus Jack Finds a Way. To best evaluate the story about Cactus Jack, I will look at setting, characters, and plot, and then make a recommendation. You will note that the purpose can either come before or behind the 3 points. That's your choice. It just has to flow. The important thing is that the reader picks up your purpose and organization from the thesis statement. Remember, the thesis statement is the most important sentence in your whole essay, so take care to construct it according to the formula. Once you have practiced writing the thesis statements, you're ready to build introductory paragraphs. I'm going to cover this right now as it builds on what we just did. On page 40, you will find 5 ideas relating to the introductory paragraph. 3 of them are about the thesis statement, but 2 of them are new. So let's take a look. Here are the 2 new points. There is movement from general to specific in the introductory paragraph. The sentences form a continuous narrowing to the specific topic of your paper. In the previous example about the story of Cactus Jack, we might build the following categories. The most general category is reading, and followed by fiction, short story, western, and finally the Cactus Jack story itself. And I could have figured that out by working backwards. Cactus Jack is a western, it's a short story, it's fiction, and all that comes under the heading of reading. Note that this text calls these levels categories. The second point is that the first sentence of the introductory paragraph is used to catch the eye of the reader. This sentence points in the general direction of specific topic, and it may but does not have to contain 1 or 4 standard introductory techniques. These are a statistic, a quote, a question, or a reminder. There is a 5th, the joke, but it's good for writing speeches, but it's best to avoid in a 5-paragraph essay. Statistic. Here's an example. Reading and gardening are the 2 most popular hobbies in the United States today. How about a quote? Joseph Addison once said, "Reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body." A question, did you know that reading for pleasure is a great pastime? Or the reminder, can you remember the last story you read for pleasure? Or maybe something like this, remember the last time you picked up a good story and couldn't put it down? All these are designed to pull the reader in, to get him interested, to make him want to read on. You will find this information repeated with different examples on pages 40 and 41. So that's it for now. Next time, the concluding paragraph.